They say the human mind is the last battlefield, and during World War II, some were determined to prove it, literally. Hidden deep in remote laboratories, far from the prying eyes of generals and spies, secret experiments were being conducted on soldiers. But these were no ordinary military operations. There were no rifles, no tanks, no conventional weapons. This was a war of consciousness, a battle waged not with bullets, but with thoughts, fears, and the invisible strings of the human psyche. The truth about these experiments is stranger, darker, and far more unsettling than almost any conventional war story. Imagine a dimly lit room, the air thick with antiseptic and the metallic tang of old machinery. Soldiers, exhausted from battles and long marches, sit stiffly in chairs. Their eyes flick nervously toward the researchers, people who are neither in uniform nor armed in the usual sense. Their weapons are words, gaze, and strange devices emitting faint electrical impulses. The researchers, psychologists, and even occult enthusiasts alike are attempting what many would consider impossible: to extract hidden secrets, influence decisions, and even anticipate battlefield movements, all without a single bullet fired. The Nazi regime had long been fascinated with psychology and human behavior, but the war provided them both cover and justification to push the boundaries of science into the realm of the extraordinary. Volunteers, and far too often unwilling subjects, were subjected to sessions of hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and mild electrostimulation. Under extreme conditions, some subjects reportedly responded to commands they did not consciously understand. They performed tasks without remembering them afterward, revealed deeply buried fears and memories, or behaved in ways that seemed preternaturally precise. Diaries, letters, and rare surviving reports speak of terror and awe, as participants themselves struggled to comprehend the power being wielded over their minds. But it was not only the Axis powers who explored these shadowy corners of human consciousness. The Allies, too, were drawn into the study of mental warfare. In secret facilities in England and the United States, researchers experimented with telepathy, the transfer of thoughts between individuals, and other attempts to manipulate perception. Some experiments paired soldiers in complete isolation, attempting to synchronize thoughts, convey hidden messages, or even anticipate the intentions of enemies across vast distances. Anecdotal evidence suggests that these sessions occasionally produced unnerving results, cases where subjects seemed to know information they had no ordinary means of acquiring, or reacted instinctively to dangers before they occurred. Accounts from those who survived such experiments describe sensations that are almost impossible to verify, but chilling to hear. Hearing voices in empty rooms, seeing flashes of memories that were not their own, or feeling compelled to act in ways contrary to instinct. Many participants documented these experiences in journals, writing of the eerie mix of fascination and fear, and questioning their own sanity. The laboratories themselves were designed to maximize control over the mind. Some rooms were soundproofed, lit only by dim, flickering lights, or occasionally bathed in sudden flashes to create disorientation. Subjects were exposed to repetitive stimuli, strange visual patterns, or guided into deep trance-like states. In some experiments, operators would whisper phrases intended to evoke memories or responses, monitoring subtle changes in heart rate, pupil dilation, and microexpressions. The goal was clear: to map the edges of human obedience, awareness, and susceptibility. Could a soldier be convinced to act against his own nature without remembering why? Could secrets be drawn from the mind like water from a cup? These questions were not merely academic. They were weapons of war in their own right. Many of these experiments were never officially documented, or records were destroyed to conceal their existence. What remains are fragmentary notes, cryptic memos, and the occasional testimony. They hint at a terrifying truth: that both sides of the conflict sought not just victory in the physical world, but dominion over consciousness itself. They dreamed of an invisible army of obedient minds, able to act without hesitation, anticipate enemy moves, and reveal truths without coercion. The war might have been fought with tanks and guns, But in these hidden rooms, it was fought with thoughts, fears, and the malleable edges of human will. Some subjects reportedly suffered long-term consequences. The mind, once pushed beyond normal limits, often did not recover fully. Former participants recounted lingering sensations of intrusion, fleeting whispers, or sudden, inexplicable feelings of compulsion. Others reported dreams in which the experimenters' voices returned, guiding or admonishing them in ways that made no logical sense. Legends and rumors circulated after the war, suggesting that some individuals carried the psychic residue of these trials for decades. Even after 1945, whispers of these experiments persisted. Researchers post-war studied some of the same techniques, quietly integrating them into interrogation methods, intelligence work, and psychological research. The line between science and the occult blurred. Techniques once deemed secret or unethical slowly informed broader understanding of human behavior, memory, and influence. Yet the question remained, how far can the mind be bent before it breaks, or before it begins bending back in ways no one can control? It is easy to remember World War II for its epic battles, strategic maneuvers, and the monumental human suffering it inflicted. But the most chilling wars, the ones rarely told in history books, were fought quietly, in the labyrinthine recesses of the human brain. In those darkened laboratories, the boundaries between science, magic, and moral compromise disappeared. And although the machines are gone and the researchers have long since passed, the echoes of their experiments linger, reminding us that even in a world dominated by bullets and bombs, the most dangerous weapon may have been invisible and already inside your head. The story of these experiments raises profound questions about the limits of human endurance, morality, and the very nature of consciousness. It hints at a reality where thought can be weaponized, where obedience is manufactured, and where even the mind itself is no longer safe from the machinery of war. Some believe that the legacy of these experiments continues to shape modern intelligence operations, psychological warfare, and even the subtle ways governments seek to influence behavior. In the end, the tale is not just of soldiers and scientists, of war and laboratories, but of curiosity, ambition, and the terrifying potential of the human mind. It reminds us that even when wars end, battles for control, over territory, over secrets, and over consciousness, often continue in ways we cannot fully see or understand. World War II was fought on countless fronts, but the quietest, most insidious front may have been within the soldiers themselves and the minds that sought to master them. And while the labs have vanished and the war is over, the notion that someone might reach into a mind, unseen and unfelt, and alter the course of thought remains a haunting and ever-present question.